Today is my 60th birthday. They never really celebrated my birthdays before, but 2 weeks ago while helping my grandson tidy up his desk, I found a handmade card. On the front it said, "Happy birthday, Grandma." I pretended not to see it, but I couldn't help feeling a little hopeful. 60 is a milestone worth remembering. Even though no one had ever celebrated it for me in the past, I thought, maybe this time they wouldn't forget. I got up early and cleaned the entire house until it was spotless. After lunch I took a shower, curled my hair for the first time in ages, and put on my best-fitting navy blue dress. Then I sat in the living room waiting for them to come home from work. Only then did I realize, I forgot to ask which restaurant we were going to tonight. I sent a text to my son Brian. "Where are we going for dinner tonight?" He didn't reply. Probably still in a meeting. I sent the same message to Emily and Richard. No response from either of them. Unable to sit still, I went back upstairs to reorganize the bedroom and closet. After fussing around for a while, I felt tired and leaned on the sofa, eventually falling asleep without noticing. When I woke up, it was already dark. I sat up suddenly and slapped my forehead. Had they gone ahead to the restaurant without me? I grabbed my phone ready to call, but all I saw were the messages I'd sent. No replies. No missed calls. I stared at the screen for a moment, then dialed Richard's number. "Hello." I had just started speaking when he interrupted me. "What is it?" His tone was flat, like he was handling a business call. "I was wondering, where are you having dinner tonight?" "We're out. Just eat something at home or we can bring you something back." I didn't know what to feel. I was about to say, "Today is." "Richard, come cut the cake." A woman's voice came through the phone. I recognized it instantly. It was Lucy Wells, the woman who had disappeared from sight but never from his life. "If it's nothing urgent, let's talk later," he said, then hung up. The sound of the call ending echoed in my ears. I stood there holding the phone, stunned as if something had hit me hard. The lights in the room were still off. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring into the dark, until a rumble of thunder rolled outside the window. I picked up my phone and opened the social media app. Emily had helped me install it not long ago. I used it to record little moments of life at home. Right on the homepage I saw a new post. Lucy had uploaded a video. I tapped on it. On the screen, Richard, Brian, Emily, and my grandson Jack were sitting around a birthday cake, singing a birthday song to her. Their faces were full of joy, like a perfectly happy family. The caption read, "A warm birthday night with my loved ones." With trembling hands I turned up the volume. I played it again. Then again. And again. Jack's sweet voice calling Grandma, and that birthday song, one no one had ever sung for me, kept echoing in my ears. So that card wasn't for me. It was for another Grandma. My husband, my son, my family, everything today had been for someone else. Not one of them remembered it was my birthday. No one but me. Then I noticed a menu in the video. I recognized it right away. It was from an upscale French restaurant downtown. The same place Richard used to choose whenever he entertained important clients. My vision blurred with tears. I couldn't hold it anymore. I started to cry. I had managed the household carefully, saved every penny, lived frugally for them, and they threw a grand birthday celebration for another woman. The husband I'd been married to for 40 years never remembered my birthday. But he always remembered hers. I grabbed my purse and rushed out the door, flagging down a cab and heading straight to that restaurant. It was rush hour, and the taxi crawled through traffic until it finally pulled up in front of the upscale French bistro downtown. As soon as I stepped out of the cab, I saw Richard and Lucy walking out of the restaurant hand in hand with Jack. Brian and Emily followed close behind, all of them smiling, looking every bit like a picture-perfect family. When Richard spotted me, a flicker of panic crossed his face, but he quickly masked it with his usual cold composure. "What are you doing here?" he asked with a hint of reproach in his voice. "Am I not allowed to be here?" I replied, my tone sharp and cool. Lucy immediately stepped in, her smile polite, her voice soft. "You must be May, right?" "Oh, I'm Lucy. Richard and Jack came to celebrate my birthday today. I actually asked them why you weren't here and they said you weren't feeling well, so you stayed home." She looked radiant, elegant and poised, easily passing for someone in her early 40s, not a woman in her 50s. Her makeup was subtle, her hair neatly styled, and her voice as gentle as her demeanor. Before I could respond, Jack suddenly pulled away from them and ran straight at me. "What are you doing here, you uneducated village woman?" he shouted. For a 7-year-old, he packed quite a punch. He slammed into my stomach, nearly knocking me off balance. Emily rushed over and pulled him back, frowning as she scolded, "Jack, you can't treat your grandma like that." "She's not my grandma." Jack screamed angrily. "She talks weird, she's not like us. I don't like her. I don't want her to be my grandma." I stood there frozen, his words slicing through me like a blade. A wave of fury and humiliation surged up so fast I couldn't contain it. I stormed over, grabbed Jack by the arm and gave him a hard smack on the backside. Jack immediately burst into loud, wailing sobs, drawing the attention of people walking by who stopped to stare. Emily, stunned, probably never having seen me lose my temper, stood frozen, unsure what to do. Brian suddenly rushed over, shoved me aside and scooped Jack into his arms. "Mom, what the hell are you doing? Do you have to make a scene here?" he snapped. I looked up at my son, saw the disgust in his eyes and felt something inside me shatter. This was the boy I had raised with all my love and care. I turned to Richard, not even sure what I was hoping for, maybe just to see if he still cared about me at all. He was about to speak when the restaurant manager appeared, clearly uncomfortable, gently suggesting we move to the lounge to settle our private matters. But Richard waved him off without hesitation. Avoiding my gaze, he rubbed his forehead and muttered, "Let's not make a bigger mess. Just go home." The irritation and superiority in his voice made me feel like I was just some pathetic woman making a public scene. Lucy chimed in again, her tone soft, almost consoling. "May, maybe you misunderstood. Yes, Richard and I had a relationship when we were young, but that was decades ago. We're just old friends now. He only came tonight because he thought I've been lonely since my husband passed. So, don't read too much into it." I took a deep breath, trying to swallow the fire rising in my chest. "Lucy, I didn't misunderstand anything. You don't need to explain. But if you don't mind, I need to speak privately with my family. Please give us some space." Kept my voice measured. I didn't want to air our dirty laundry in front of her. Even in this moment of fury, I refused to play the part of a bitter woman. But then Brian spoke up suddenly. "Daddy, take Lucy home. Mom will go with us." "Fine," Richard said. "Why?" I snapped before I could stop myself, Richard speaking at the same time. "She doesn't know the way home? Can't she call a cab like a normal person? Why do you have to personally escort her?" I knew my tone was harsh, my words sharp, but I had reached my limit. Like an overinflated balloon ready to burst, I needed somewhere to let it all out. "May, that's enough," Richard growled, brow furrowed. He let out a sigh and turned to Brian. "You take Lucy home. Jack and Emily will come with us." "I don't want to," Jack suddenly shouted, latching onto Lucy. "I want to ride with Grandma Lucy. I don't want to be with that old boring grandma." "Jack." Emily shot me an apologetic glance and tried to pull him away, but he wriggled free again. After all the chaos, we finally got into the car. I sat in the front passenger seat. Emily and Jack were in the back. Just as I reached for the window button to get some air, Richard silently rolled the window back up. "The wind's too strong. Jack might catch a cold," he said, eyes fixed on the road ahead. I withdrew my hand without a word. The car sank into a heavy silence. Several minutes passed before Richard finally spoke. "May, your behavior today was completely inappropriate." Just like that, a few words and he'd passed judgment, neatly and decisively. I leaned back in the seat, saying nothing. Not a word left my mouth until the car pulled into the garage. My voice was hoarse when I finally spoke, so faint I barely recognized it as my own. "Emily, you think I was wrong too, don't you?" She didn't answer. But through the rearview mirror, I caught the flicker of hesitation in her eyes. That weak, evasive silence was more cutting than any spoken response. I let out a quiet laugh. I didn't even know why, just that everything suddenly felt absurd, almost comical. I had poured 40 years into this family and in the end, not a single one of them remembered it was my birthday. "We're home. Let's get out," Richard said, turning off the engine and calling for Emily and Jack to get out of the car. When I didn't move, he sighed, came around to open my door and reached out to help me. I brushed his hand away. He looked like he was about to say something when Brian's car pulled up beside us. He stormed over, his voice already raised. "Why are you still here? Mom, what exactly do you want? We knew you'd make a scene, so we didn't even plan to take you." It's not like Dad and Lucy were off having some private dinner. We just celebrated her birthday together. What's the big deal? His words hit like a bucket of cold water straight to my face. The fire in my chest reignited instantly. I slapped him hard, across the face. May, how could you hit Brian? Emily cried out. May, have you lost your mind? Richard shouted in fury. You can't hit my dad. Jack jumped in front of Brian, arms spread wide like he was ready to defend him from me. The three of them rushed forward, shielding Brian as if I were some lunatic on the verge of a breakdown. Brian held his cheek, eyes wide in shock. I had never laid a hand on him before, not once in his life. I had always been the gentle mother. Of course he couldn't comprehend it. My palms still stung. I stared coldly at their faces, each one of them different, yet all the same, and said, my voice biting and sharp, "You ungrateful people." My tone was so bitter, so cutting it startled Brian. He stammered, "Mom." Richard's face darkened further. He glared at me, voice like ice. May, this is beyond ridiculous. You already embarrassed yourself in public and now you're hitting your own son at home. You're almost 60, can you stop acting so irrational? I actually laughed when I heard that. Not almost 60, I said, pausing deliberately, my voice steady and clear. I am 60. Today. And with that I turned and walked upstairs, leaving them all behind without so much as a glance. When I got home I went straight to the bedroom and locked the door behind me. I took off my clothes and stood under a hot shower, scrubbing my face clean, but no amount of water could wash away the heaviness pressing on my chest. Soon there was a knock at the door. May, open up. It's me. Richard's voice. I grabbed a pillow and pulled it over my head. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear anything at all. Just then my phone buzzed. I reached for it instinctively, unlocked the screen, and saw a message from Lucy. I opened it. May, I honestly thought Richard had told you about today. Brian and Emily were both coming, so I assumed you knew. Besides, we've celebrated together the past few years, so I didn't think you'd misunderstand. There's really nothing going on between me and Richard,